Hello everyone, today in this video we will fight against the atmosphere of our world around us, and this time we will discuss, unfortunately around the world, very common problem currently due to the political situation of the vast majority countries in the world. This is a global problem with some exceptions. I mean republicanism, parliamentarism, and so-called democracy. These are the empty words, and they describe different forms of so-called representative system, political system, that people officially elect their representatives, and these representatives are ruling in the name of people who allegedly, supposedly, I would even say, elected them. And we see how it works, actually how it doesn't work around the world, because we have to think who is the democratic politician, so democratically elected, let's say, is just a very strange guy or lady who is not rich in most cases and wants to go to the politics, as the foreign minister of France during Napoleonic era said, Mr. Maurice de Talleyrand, we go to politics to make big money. So this is also their goal, and with respect to the possibilities they get, they are making bigger or smaller money. So okay, we see that these people, first of all, what we can say, their characteristic feature is lack of competence, and the lack of competence is really high. So what can these people do once they go into power? They are looking for someone to support them. And of course, a word doesn't like void, so the ones who support them are the ones, in most cases, from big business, like big pharma, like mineral or oil excavation companies, and so on and so on. So in practice, the CAOs, and actually even not the CAOs but management of these big companies, because as I was saying many times, in last about 50 years in big companies something like this happened, that the owner was disconnected from the company. He is not ruling the company anymore. He is delegating managers to do it, and these managers have terms 3, 4, 5 years, and their only goal is to maximize as possible during their term the income of the company. So they are doing it at any costs. We experience this hysteria by big pharma in last 2 years, what they were doing, how they were bribing everybody and everything around to just maximize the profits. And governments were using this to exercise control over the population. Briefly, it looked like this. So now we see that in Republican, so-called also democratic systems, politicians are completely incompetent, and of course the CAOs from big companies and the ones who are actually ruling them for the short time, these managers, are also incompetent in terms of efficient ruling the state and efficient ruling the population, because they are focused only on money making. That's why this what we see is festival of incompetence and bribing. Of course, because democratic politician, as I mentioned, in most cases is a poor person who goes to the politics to, as Talleyrand said, make a big money. So who can give them big money? These small salaries they are offered when they are serving their post as deputy or whoever. No, of course, big money can come from sharks of the business, and sharks of the business are nothing more than these companies I mentioned. That's why we have this festival of incompetence, and here I would like to recall the quotation from my favorite Colombian philosopher Nicolas Gomez Davila, that street can give us thieves, prostitutes, and democratic politicians. So it means they are products of the same, of the street, and that's why when they go to power, they introduce the street quality in very big quotation. That is why we observe currently the systematic degradation of practically all states that officially have democratic/republican system currently installed within their structures, and they are ruled not in an efficient way. That's why with time quite quickly these countries and these societies degenerate. And also there is no professional approach, because how can you be professional and how can one realize long-term plans if your term is about 4 or 5 years and you have to always think during this term to find another sponsor, so another shark of the business who will sponsor the campaign of you to win another election. So there is no long-term plan, because long-term plan cannot be there, simply because of the features of the system in which we are currently in the majority of states around the world. That's why who is really ruling? Different organizations that have solid structure and solid plan, like some religious organizations in some countries, some more secret organizations in some countries, some associations of sharks of the business, for instance several rich families, or actually several dozens of rich families that construct Fed. They are ruling the finances of the largest empire nowadays, and so on and so on. In some countries like Iran, it's clique of religious and cynical fanatics, and many more. So who is ruling? The group of people that has common interests, solid structure, and long-term leadership that is taking care of realization of their plan. In such situation, when majority of societies are so-called democratic, only such well-organized structures with common interests, structures consist of people with common interest and characterized by solid power, are really ruling our states and our world. How it will end, we know. We have to keep calm when we can, and when we should protest with by any possible means to protect us from the largest madness of dumb democratic politicians and their sponsors and protectors who are trying to rule our states from behind. All the best, have a nice day, bye.